Welcome back, everybody. Mudford here. Here's what we're working on tonight. This is a Christmas present for my kids. I'm going to try to make each of them one of these desks like this. And I'm going to try to build it myself for the lowest price I can, of course. What I've got into it so far, I've spent $50 on a 4-foot by 8-foot sheet of oak plywood. So I've figured out what dimensions I want for this for my kids, and I've drawn it all out here to scale on paper. And what I'm going to do is transfer these lines onto my sheet here. I'm going to take my time and try to get it, as good as I can. Try to get it perfect here so that I don't waste any, because if you look close, you can see really don't have a lot of room for error. I don't have a lot of wasted board. Mostly the openings, which should be the openings here where their feet are going to slide through. The rest of it, I've got very little wasted board here. Just a little bit there, and then the opening. So, well, I'm going to go ahead and get it laid out, and we'll see how it turns out, and then we're going to try to get it cut tonight. I'm going to have my wife come out here to the shop and help me when I'm cutting it, just to make sure I got it on sawhorses. But these are I got to be pretty precise on the cut, so I don't want the board falling, and I don't want anything happening to it. So she's going to hopefully come out and give me a hand with it once I get it measured. Okay, I've got my board all drawn up now to get it close there so you can see. I've got all the lines on it from my template, all transferred, except for you can see you got these big dark areas here. And what I did is I just left them for now. I just put a mark there, which would be the marks here and here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get something like a bucket, and I'm going to put it right here and draw my circle and then connect the lines. And then what I'll do is I'll have the two sides of each desk I'll have clamped together, and then I'm going to put the mark on it, and I'm going to cut with the jigsaw right through both at the same time. That way they match up. And then because I'm doing this project the way it's going to fasten together, I'm going to be using the Kreg jig, and I'll show you that a little bit later once I get the boards cut. So I'm going to want all my boards to be as identical as possible. My side boards, and then my spacer boards for the middle part here. Those are going to be spacers in there, so I want them all to be the same, exactly the same, so it'll fit together squarely for when I go to fasten it together. But I'll talk more about that later. Right now I just got to get this all cut out, and this is going to have some tricky cuts on it because I tried to save as much as I could and get as much as I could out of the board. So I'll try to show you the hardest cuts. I've got a line going across. It doesn't go all the way across, it stops right here. Then from the other way, I've got a line going across, and it doesn't go all the way across either. So in order to get this part off, I have to get this to there, and it's going to be awful hard to get that cut started squarely. This one right here is going to be kind of tough, and I don't even have enough space it's gonna be kind of tricky getting this. Hopefully I can do it without marring up the boards too much. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So I'm gonna have to get my wife out here to help me hold the board, help me make sure I don't gouge them up too bad, and make sure if she's holding it that way it doesn't fall. And when I cut a piece off, I'm going to be switching from my skill saw, which I just put a fresh blade in, to my jigsaw, which I just put a fresh blade in. So hopefully that'll help. Hopefully things will go pretty smooth. Okay, we got the board all cut up, and we only had one problem. I mean, we have a few splinters on the one side, so we can sand those down and then just kind of try to put the splinters to the side that doesn't show as much. These are just supports. My one major screw up is on the desk top. I had the main chunk of the 4x8 sitting out, and I was using it, and I was trimming off a piece, probably one of these pieces off the end, and I did what you always do when you're not paying close enough attention, and I cut through my board underneath, which was the tabletop of one of the desks, and I cut off this much. So I was pretty bummed about that, as you can probably imagine. And I don't know, I might be able to, I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. I can try to just glue it on here. I can try that, which I don't really like that idea, because that's gonna be too noticeable. What I might do is square it up, and then, you can see it's pretty crooked. So square it up, and maybe take some more off another side and get things really cleaned up good, and maybe get some oak, since this is oak plywood, get some 1-inch oak strips and run them around the edge, and then I can round them. I can nail them in with a finish nailer, sand them, and round them off, and it'll probably look better anyway, because then we won't have this edge like this showing with the plywood for the desk top. So I think that's the route I'm gonna go. I'll have to decide tomorrow, because right now when I'm taping this, when we cut this is December 20th, Saturday night. So gotta hurry up and get this done and stained before Thursday. I think Christmas is actually Thursday this year, so don't have much time. Another problem that I had, wasn't really a problem, but just when I was writing this up, I just was going from a picture off the internet, from this picture here. I also still have to buy my plastic pans or whatever that'll be the desk drawer for the kids, and then I'll screw some strips under there so they can slide in and out. But that can even be later. That can even be after Christmas, as long as I have something under the tree. I like to have something under the tree that I made for them. So anyway, the height of the desk, I'll show you on here. The difference between these two, I think I had too much of a difference there. The desk part was going to be too high from the seat. So once I got it sitting on the floor and I was looking at it, it looks like it's going to be way too high for my 5-year-old. So I think I'm going to shave about 5 inches off the top of this, both sides. I'll do that on both of them, and that'll make it a lot better for them. So I think that's the route I'm going to go. So I'm going to go ahead and what I'm planning on doing is clamping the two sides together and doing all my any trimming, sanding with the sides clamped right together, so that way I know they're identical. And I'll probably do the same thing with the desktops and the seats, just so that I know. I mean, it won't be as critical for them because they're each going to a different desk, but the sides I really need to have identical so that when I screw them together with the Kreg tool, that it will fit together snug when I do drill my pocket holes for that. The pocket holes and the staining are going to be, you know, very last minute. Hopefully, like, not Christmas Eve last minute, but we'll see. So now what I got to focus on is getting these sanded and trimmed and getting them perfect, so that when I do go to do the pocket hole on them, pocket saw, that it will everything will go quick and smooth there. But the only problem is right now I'm still finishing up the chicken fence, so I've really got some work to do tomorrow.